Hey, Lit Set, it's Jazmine.
Hey, Lit Set, it's Nikea, and this is Black Girl Lit,
The podcast. We're a podcast now, guys.
Where Black girls are lit,
we get lit,
and we read lit.
This is Black Girl Lit, the podcast.
Hey, y'all. Hey, Lit Set, we're back. This is our last episode for the year. I don't remember the last time we recorded, but we're here.
It's last episode of recording in 2020. Users, go ahead. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I did Vlogmas, posted 24 videos for 24 days. Whew, that was a struggle, but that was fun. And now I'm in that weird time between Christmas and New Year's where you don't know what day it is. We've been staying up late every night. Reagan, our oldest daughter, is here. I'm stretching out my retwist for my locks, so I had to lay my baby hair so I can get cute for y'all on the podcast today.
It looks good, sis. It looks good.
I've been walking around looking homeless, okay?
True.
And then I didn't bathe for like 2 days because I was like, I got up and we just had a lazy day, and then yesterday I was cleaning and I didn't take a shower till last night, but I'm clean now. Put on some makeup. So
hey, look, I will say, I'm not even gonna be lie to y'all. This quarantine, I may or may not have been on an every other day bath schedule. Why am I wasting water? Why am I wasting stuff? I'm not going anywhere. Tits, pits, and lady bits. That's what you get someday.
The little hoe bath. That's
little hoe bath. Little hoe bath. little wash up, and then I go about my day. This morning, our dishwasher broke, so the guy came to look at it, and I'm pretty sure he looked at me like, "Am I in the right place, ma'am? Are you squatting here? Because I look terrible."
You got a little curl in your hair now.
I did a little sun to it, but this morning. Your Vlogmas was really good, though. I just want to point that out. I loved that you had different content, especially like your gift suggestion video and tips on being a Secret Santa and stuff like that. Because I didn't see that in other people's videos. Because everyone else's Vlogmas was like, just come with me to the grocery store. And I'm like, that ain't Christmas themed.
How are you doing? I know we were like talking back and forth, but
I'm doing
overall.
Good. I'm getting ready for the new year. Getting ready for a new job because I had to I gotta go where the money resides.
Right, we going. What a money reside. What a money reside. What a money reside. What a money reside.
What a what?
And that's so Mary Had a Little Lamb.
And that's on who? Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Taking care of that, we're getting closer and closer to this wedding.
It's upon us.
Oh yeah, next week will make 2 months. So that's exciting. Also super excited because next week is my bachelorette function. I don't know no details. I just know I need to just be somewhere.
We're having prayer and Bible study.
I'm super excited about prayer and Bible study. I have acquired all of my clothing for prayer and Bible study sessions. Hoping 2021 is a better year and that we can go outside, maybe.
Right, yeah.
I just want to go somewhere. I just want to travel somewhere else besides my four walls.
All right, y'all, that's our check-in. We're here. We made it to the end of 2020.
Woo,
and our podcast. Our podcast made it to the end of 2020.
Ooh, thank the Lord for that too. Say a prayer.
Right.
This year was weird. It was weird.
It got a little rough. All right, so enough chit chat. Let's get into the thick of things. So sit back, relax, get your drink, and let's get lit. We're book 5, season 4. Dang, season 4. That's so crazy. We read Tiny Pretty Things by Sona, Chariapotra, and Dhonielle Clayton. And we have read Dhonielle before because we read her Belle series books, and this was my choice. And we kind of shifted our schedule around because, as you all know, unless you're living under a rock or you just don't care, Netflix has, I don't know what I'm pointing to, but Netflix has turned the book into a show. So Jazz and I were like, okay, let's read the book and then we can binge watch the show. We'll talk about that decision later. Let's get into our first segment, which is about the authors. Yes. So, Sona Chariapotra. Her parents wanted her to become a doctor, but on her website it said, much to their chagrin, she became interested in writing. She became a writer, working first as a celebrity reporter at People and Teen People magazines, and most recently contributing to publications for the New York Times and Teen Vogue. She's also the editor of the beloved Barnes & Noble teen blog, and it says RIP, so I guess that's no longer in existence. These days, she uses her master's in screenwriting from NYU and her MFA in creative writing from the New School to poke plot holes in her favorite teen TV shows. For work, of course, she says. She's the co-founder of Cake Literary, a boutique book packaging company with a decidedly diverse bent, and co-author of the YA dance drama Tiny Pretty Things and Shiny Broken Pieces, as well as the upcoming psychological thriller Rumor Games. Okay, she also writes screenplays with her sister, talent booker Mina Chariapotra. She's a former We Need Diverse Books board member, and you can find her sharing pictures of her kids and her chai on Instagram, talking writing and books on Twitter, or pinning gorgeous Lenghas, Lenghas, and her favorite Indian foods on Pinterest. So that's about Sona. And Dhonielle, she hails from Washington, D.C. suburbs. Oh, she hails from Washington, D.C. suburbs on the Maryland side, but now she lives in New York. She was an extremely fussy and particular child. Right, so Dhonielle attended Our Lady of Good Counsel High School because her parents thought Catholic school would keep her out of trouble. She went to Wake Forest University and studied pre-med until she received a fateful F in chemistry. This prompted her to change her major to English, and she earned her BA. And then she rediscovered her love of children's fiction, and she has an MA in children's literature from Hollins University and an MFA in writing for children. She got that from the New School. So she also taught secondary school for several years at a pre-professional ballet academy and a private K-8 school. She spent most of her 20s traveling to different countries and living in different countries and cities such as London, Paris, Japan. I thought I'd say Japanese. London, Paris, Japan, and Bermuda. A former elementary and middle school librarian and co-founder and owner of Cake Literary, a creative kitchen whipping up decadent and decidedly diverse literary confections for middle grade, young adult, and women's fiction readers. She is also COO of the nonprofit We Need Diverse Books. What next? She will be enrolling in culinary school in New York City and plans to do something foodie and fun. And that is about Dhonielle and Sona, and I'm gonna stop and go to the next segment. So Jazmine,
good.
Girl, I don't know why I was struggling. We're gonna let Jazmine flourish and thrive. She's gonna synopsisize Tiny Pretty Things by Sona, Chariapotra, and Dhonielle Clayton.
Yes, y'all, come along with me as I synopsisize Tiny Pretty Things. So Tiny Pretty Things is the story of a elite ballet school or conservatory called the American Ballet Conservatory, which is the feeder school for the American Ballet Company. It is in New York City. And the story is told from three perspectives. It is told from the perspective of Gigi, who is the new kid at school, Black girl that came from California. She has recently joined the school due to a recent opening because of a previous student named Cassie having to leave the school under some interesting circumstances. Then you also have the story of Bet, who is kind of like I would say a legacy student. Her sister had previously gone to the school and is currently a principal dancer for the actual American Ballet Company. So she has some really big shoes that she's trying to fill, and her mother's on the board, and her mother's really involved. Sorry, I'm mixing storylines here. Her mother's really involved in the school. So, try to pull strings there. So Bet kind of comes in and she has this expectation that she is going to be just like her sister, Adele. And then you have June. June is the Korean American student whose mother, so she's technically a legacy as well because her mother had previously gone to the school and had studied ballet and dance as well. June does not know who her daddy is. She just knows that it's a white man. Outside of that, she doesn't really know. So June also is trying to scratch her way to the top of the ballet totem pole or the ballet hierarchy and work her way. She has not been able to really snag a solo or principal part in any of the recitals. So she's really trying to get that. And she might be willing to do whatever's necessary to get that. And so, yeah, so basically the story is just these three girls, as well as their different counterparts that they encounter at the school, like Bet's boyfriend, some of the other students, male students at the school, and how they are interacting together as they are all vying and trying to be the top dancer at American Ballet Conservatory, and the lengths that they are all willing to go to be the top and to have their moment in the spotlight during the solo for the the winter, the fall, and spring recitals. And they will do anything almost to get there. So that is the high level view of Tiny Pretty Things. Thank you.
Okay, so before we move forward, we're going to kind of intertwine our reactions to the show and, and the book together, but we'll let y'all know what we're talking about when we're talking about it. I finished the show. Jazmine just ran out of time. That's the story. We're going to stick to it.
Yeah, that's it. I ran out of time.
Yeah, it's okay. We've all been there. Our next segment is going to be our initial reactions, just how we feel about the book as well as the show. Yeah, I'll go first since it's my pick. My reactions to the book. The drama of it all, I am here for it. I secretly, but now no longer secretly, I've always wanted to learn ballet and be a ballerina. Like, I am still looking for an adult ballet class. I don't know if I want to do point because their feet look jacked up, but if I could just be on point just for a little bit, that would be cool. But I loved all the drama of it. I loved the ballet aspect. I also loved Gigi. I loved her backstory, her as a character. She's just so sweet and wholesome. I was rooting for her the entire time. She's just genuinely nice. She's a genuine good person, and she's really just there to dance. And she's really okay with everybody succeeding. Like, if she didn't get a solo or lead role and whoever got it, she'd be like, yes, good job for you. I'm so happy for you. Like, she was just an all around good person, and she just wanted to dance. And I appreciate it that in the book, she was from California, but she was from a well-to-do family, an artsy family. They gave her butterflies to keep. I was like, oh my God, how cute is that? Right. Yeah, so Gigi's a good character. Then I was reading, I had a feeling that Bet's boyfriend in the novel, his name was Alec. I had a feeling that he was maybe in the closet or he was bisexual, because his roommate and his friend is openly gay. And that was also his girlfriend's best friend. But then the show brought out some things that I thought was going on in the book, but I'll get to that. Then June is such a tragic story. Like, she is dealing with so much. Like, her mom doesn't really support her in the novel. She is trying to control her body weight in unhealthy ways, which is just nobody likes her. But because the other Korean girls are super mean to her because of a lie that she's a lesbian, I'm just like, bruh, I wanted June to be so mean and just out her friend so bad, which I know is wrong, but I want it to happen in the book. And
sometimes you gotta do what you gotta
do. Right. And then the last thing is the school just did a poor job of, one, educating the kids, because I feel like they didn't care if the kids went to school or not, or went to class or whatever, as long as they kept their heads above water. And they just did a bad job of finding out who was doing these terrible things to Gigi. They were basically hazing her and all the other dancers. Just trash, basura, terrible.
So my book reactions. First one, it amazed me. It amazes me how cutthroat the ballet community and world is. But then conversely, I wasn't shocked about how racist it is. Because we've heard about those and seen stories about Misty Copeland and her experience being a principal ballerina, and how her race and stuff has a kind of played a factor in her career. Similar to Nikea, I loved the ballet aspect of it though. I did ballet as a kid, and I too have been wanting to do get back into it. The last time I took a ballet class though was senior year of college. I took an elective ballet class, and it was best thing ever. So I definitely get that and want to do it again. It's just the French for the terms is so nice, and then just watching it is just so pretty. I don't know, I like it. My next reaction was something about Gigi and her health. There was a lot of allusions to her health. And when I wrote the note, you know, at the time, I didn't know what was her health reasons, but then that is discovered and all this other stuff. So I'll kind of skip that one. I said that I didn't trust anybody in the school. They were all trash except for Gigi. Everybody at the school was garbage. Alec was garbage. Will was garbage. What was his name? I can't remember. His name in the show is Nabil. Henri. He was trash. They were just all just trash people. Bet was trash. Bet's mama was trash. They was just all trash. Yes. I had some guesses about who June's dad was. I was not correct in my assumption of who I thought June's dad was. And then also the emphasis that these 16-year-olds were placing on love and like Bet and her relationship with Alex. And like, here's the best thing that's ever happened to me. I'm going to be so lost without him. How am I ever going to live life? I'm like, girl, y'all 16. Like,
she's obsessed.
Like, there are so many other people here in this world. Don't put all your eggs in this little man's basket, okay?
But they were in that little, they were in a bubble.
They were in a bubble. They were very much in a bubble. But girl, and then I felt the same way about June. I felt like every time I read one of her sections, it was like, this girl needs help. She needs attention. She needs someone to truly love her. And she was not getting that from anybody. So she was struggling. She was struggling. And Gigi, I love Gigi. There were so many times where I wanted Gigi to boss up. And just kind of come at them, but I appreciated that she didn't, especially after watching the show. I definitely appreciate how Gigi was written in comparison to her show counterpart. Those are my high levels, reactions.
So the show, the first episode played on my television, and I said, I hate this show. It's, first of all, okay, so the notes I wrote for the show for me, too much sex.
Yes.
Like, too much. Like, these kids, the actors, of course, are 20 plus. Okay? I know that. But these kids are supposed to be 16, 17, maybe 18 at the most. And we're seeing ass, titties, head giving, what do you call it? Fellatio?
Penis shadow. I saw some penis shadows.
Oh, I missed the penis shadow. I feel like there was
a penis shadow. I feel like there was one where Nabil and Caleb were in the sauna because Nabil walked in butt naked into the sauna, and I'm just like
they're just always naked. It was too much. I'm like, they're supposed to be teenagers. Like, you can allude to them having sex without showing them having sex. I don't know why Netflix decided to do that. They could have rated this show like R or something, but it was just too much.
Right. So I actually wrote a note. It says they took a YA book, turned it into softcore porn with a pinch of dance and a splash of drama. That's what it was. It was softcore porn. At least the episodes that I saw, because I didn't have time. The episodes that I saw were just all softcore porn episodes. Like, I was just like,
there's less sex as you get through the show.
Why are they fucking so much?
Yes, all the time. And not just regular teenage sex. Like, teenagers ain't giving head like that. What y'all doing?
They was in a club. They was in a club. In the club.
Behind the DJ booth, I think.
Right. I'm 30 and I haven't even 31 and I haven't even done that kind of stuff.
Right.
I mean, really.
Yeah. Also, some bad acting. It's just a little forced, a little contrived, and that's just from everybody. Yeah. But I did look up that all of the actors are actually trained dancers.
Yes.
So there's no stunt doubles. They're all doing the work. And the black girl, the black lead, she actually went to Debbie Allen's school. And she's actually in, if you look on Netflix, the documentary, The Hot Chocolate Nutcracker, she's in that documentary as well.
So I figured that. I figured these were just dancers who were just asked to act. Like, acting
but they're listed as actors. This is, for some of them, this is not their first gig.
Oh, okay. Cool. Cool. Well, their dancing was lovely. The dance scenes were my favorite part. The dance scenes were the saving grace for me, because they were actually really good and I liked being captivated. I loved that they were able to just do different like dance things and like sneakers. Like I would not be able to be doing some pirouettes and Sinead turns, all these different things, and some sneakers. I can't even do them flat, like barefooted. So
they were killing it.
They were killing it with the dance scenes. One thing that really bothered me, and I talked to Nikea about this, like I understand the need to make adjustments to the storyline or even to characters to make it more palatable and easier for like viewing purposes for television. But the way that they changed some of these characters, particularly Gigi's character, and not even just changing her name to Nevaeh, but completely stripping her of the naivete, the innocence that we liked about her in the book and making her something completely different was really hard for me to like stick with. And one thing I like about, like, I love reading books and then watching the movie version or the show version. And I like to kind of point out, ooh, okay, based on what I remember from the book, this is about to happen, but then it doesn't happen. And you're like, well, what is this? This is not, you know, what I was like anticipating. So some of the changes I think were necessary in terms of just making it easier to read, you know, make it more enjoyable for television. But some of them I felt like, I don't know, from what I saw, just were not needed and kind of maybe not like the show.
Yeah, like there was no like hazing for Gigi, like when she first came, and sorry, her name is Nevaeh in the show, but also like they changed her backstory. Like her spoilers, her mom is in prison. She has a brother. There's no dad in the picture. Why must we do this to Black people?
Why?
Because in the story, actually the school is based in New York in the story, but in the TV show is based in Chicago. And she also had an aunt that was there. Like her family was very supportive of her and treated her like a child and didn't just send her off to the school as an adult to fend for herself. She's a bitch in the show.
She is. And it's not even just her being a bitch. She was just, they took every stereotype that they could about Black people and put them on her. She comes from a broken home. She's, you know, her vernacular usage of language is more colloquial based than standard English. She is heartless. She's angry. It was just too much. Like she didn't have to be that type of character.
And the micro braids?
The micro braids. Why did she have to have braids? Not that I have a problem with braids, but Gigi,
she had curly hair in the book.
Right, talks about her natural curly hair, how she likes her curls, and y'all gave her micro braids. And then also just the even for Bet's character in the show, and I don't know, she's
a little nicer in the show to me.
She's nicer. You kind of sympathize with her and her life a little bit. And I'm like, eh. And then June's story is completely different as well.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
not fully completely different, but
if you watch to the end, it does like become similar, but then it takes a total left turn. But,
okay. Well, from what I've seen, her story it's a little similar, except though I think they gave her money, and I don't think in the book I don't think she really comes from a family of
her mom is well to do. Her, like in the book, I don't know what her job is. Her mom has like a good job and is able to pay for her to go to the school because she's not on scholarship or anything. Oh, the school's paying? Oh, but her mom does make money though.
Her mom makes money, but I'm pretty sure, because remember she found, this is spoiler alert, remember she finds the box in her mom's house and she reads the letter that the father, whose name is blacked out, they'll take care of her and her education and stuff.
Okay. Yeah. And then what else? Oh yeah, her mom in the show is a little bit nicer. Like she starts to like come around a little bit more and be nicer to her. Also, Oren, who is Alec. In the book, he's Alec. In the show, he's Oren, which is Bet's boyfriend. He's crazy. He has crazy eyes.
Yeah.
And June doesn't have the eating disorder. He does.
Mm-hmm.
He has a journal. And I think later on in the show, we learned from the director of the school that he was like chubby when he was younger and started at the school. Also, the director is no longer a male. It's a female actress. And she's a hot mess because the guy in the book, he's actually a good dude. I'm sure it's implied that he did some things to Bet's sister,
but not to the extent that the lady does.
Yes.
Which I will say, even though I didn't finish the show, I did read some. I went to the Wikipedia page and read the episode synopsis just so I knew what's going on. So I got an idea of what happens. So I know about the club and all of that stuff. Like I got some of them. What I will say though, I do kind of like the fact that they switched the eating disorder person from
Yeah,
June
I do like that.
to the guy, because that's something that I don't think is ever really talked about. Whenever you hear of bulimia, any kind of eating disorder, you typically imagine a female or a woman experiencing that. But it was good to see, well, it's not good, but it was good to see it portrayed on a male character and showing that men do go through these kind of things as well.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It was interesting about Nabil, who was actually what was his name again in the book? Henri. His story was a little different there. Because in the book he was a complete trash. In the show, he's actually not that bad.
Right. I'm trying to figure out where did Caleb come from? He's like, is he mixed? And he's like really country and like he's racist.
My thing is like, how you mix and you racist? Like, they don't even like you either, sir. So I mean,
yeah, there's just a lot of changes made, but I do like I think the biggest thing is the plot line kind of changed, because in the beginning, Cassie, she's not in a coma or anything in the book. She's just she's injured and she's recovering. And in the TV show, she's in a coma and like somebody tried to kill her, and so they're trying to figure out who did this entire thing. So then you have the police officer that's involved in that. It's a whole thing, a whole nother plot line. So that really changed it. But I just feel like they changed too much. It gets better, and I plan on torturing myself when the second season comes out because they leave you with a cliffhanger. But I will torture myself again.
I think standalone and without the bad acting, I think the plot lines, the storylines, I think that all could have really made for a really good show. I think for me personally, coming in with an expectation that this show is going to resemble the book that I just finished reading, and it's going to be pretty much the exact same thing, just visualized and put on television. I think coming in with that expectation is where I went left and where I got fucked up, because thinking it's going to be like the book and is where I got disappointed. But had I come in there with no like preconceived notions, if you haven't read the book and you just want to watch a show, I think you'll have a better reaction to the show than someone who has probably read the book and then coming in wanting to see this book that they read be visualized. I feel like
for me, this is the first time where a book and a show and or movie did not go together. Like Harry Potter, good. What else did we read? Crazy Rich Asians, and I had seen the movie before and then read the book, which everything kind of flowed together. There were little pieces that were left out, and you're used to books giving you more details. And it went together for me. These two they're two totally different things. All right, y'all, now we're gonna go to our next segment, which is major scenes and topics. Okay, so I wrote down scenes and I forgot to write down topics, but we touched on some topics previously when we were talking about our reactions. So definitely self-harm in relation to eating disorders. Yeah. Race definitely comes into play. Jazmine talked about that in relation to Gigi in the novel, and also we've heard real life stories about Misty Copeland. And then I think, of course, like jealousy, revenge. And I think since Dhonielle actually worked in a ballet school, I'm sure she heightened some of the situations, but she's just trying to bring to light like what these athletes, because to me, ballet dancers are athletes, the stuff they put their body through. Like she's trying to highlight what they go through and the culture in the ballet community and bring some attention to the negative aspects, and hopefully some of those things will change and need to be changed. I think that's all the topics I can come up with off the top of the dome. I'm sure Jazz has more. And my major scenes, I put June's whole storyline, especially with her mother and her eating disorder. Like, that's just the major scene. She's such a different character. She's admittedly mean and standoffish, and she switches sides so quick. Like, 1 minute she'll try to be on Gigi's side, 1 minute she'll try to be on Bet's side, but you see that in the TV show as well. But most of all, she's kind of really just out for self. Like, she will do anything that she needs to do to be on top. Then Gigi having glass put in her ballet slippers. I was like, when I read that, I was like, what? Like, who would do that? And on point, you are standing, you're balancing like basically on your big toe. And they said the bottom of the point shoe is the size of a matchbook. So you're putting all of your body weight right there. So imagine standing up and then you just see glass going through your foot and just blood all over your beautiful ballet slippers. Insane. And then Bette getting blackmailed by Henri. That was a little crazy. And she was like playing into it too. It's just, Bette is just weird, okay? Bette has issues, admittedly. And then I really thought it was weird how, okay, it was cute how Gigi had a crush on Alec, which was Bette's boyfriend. But then that whole storyline where he started, just all of a sudden he started liking her. And they started, I'm like, where did this come from? Like, there was no build. It was just like, oh, I like you, we're dating. And he can meet my parents. But I still care for Bette and what happens to her. That just, I was like, Gigi, she's just so naive.
It's naivete.
Yeah, but it's just naive. But I think towards the end of the novel, we got to see that Alec actually really has feelings for her and he cares about her. So yeah, those are my major scenes and topics.
Okay, so my major scene. First one, I have the first auditions and the casting for the Nutcracker, because that starts this. Yeah. It was like the catalyst for a lot of things that happened in the book, with who was casted as a Sugar Plum and everybody getting their part. Then I have opening night, because there were some hazing that happened a little bit. There was constant hazing happening to Gigi, and so I have that. I have June's discovery of her mom's box with some details about her father and her life. I have Gigi's injury, which was the glass in her slipper, and then I have Gigi's final injury situation at the end of the book. In terms of topics, I have family relationships. That's like, so everyone had some kind of like not perfect relationship. Even Gigi like loved her parents and her parents were super supportive, but I think she felt that they were being helicopter parents just based on her health and her health condition. And I think she wanted them to kind of let her make decisions a little bit about her body and stuff. So that kind of put a little bit of a strain, not a huge strain, but just a pinch of a strain. Obviously, June doesn't have the best relationship with her mother. And then Bette's mom is just a crazy upper class alcoholic. So that's just
upper class alcoholic.
So, there's that. Then we have the eating disorders and body image, mainly from June's perspective. Sexuality that goes with Alec, Will, even June, not necessarily June, but June's friend, that's talked about in the book and stuff. And then the necessary need to feel perfect and healthy competition. I think competition can be good for you and can be a motivator in the right sense, but the way that it is exacerbated and reacted to in this story is what makes it unhealthy. Like, it's one thing to look at your peer, your counterpart, and like, okay, you did 15 pirouettes, I'm gonna do 20, we're gonna work together kind of thing, or I'm gonna use this as motivation. But to be actively sabotaging and doing physical and mental warfare on other people is not cool. That's not healthy competition. It's a bit much. Those are my major scenes and topics. I will say though, Bette, since we mentioned Bette and her issues, her another major scene, her attempted seduction of
Mr. K.
Mr. K was, sis, what are you doing? Why did you think this was a good idea? Because if it had worked, then what? Then what are you gonna do?
Right. Yeah. That is a hot mess.
That is just too much. And
I will say one more thing, that going back to the show and the book, in the show, they create a new ballet called Ripper, based on Jack the Ripper. But in the book, it's the Nutcracker.
The Nutcracker for the fall, and then Giselle for the spring.
Yeah, and I was like, why can't we do the classic ballet? Maybe copyright issues. Anyway, I don't care why they did it, but they changed like the whole thing. They had a choreographer come back and create this whole ballet, and he based it off of Jack the Ripper, this guy who killed women and raped them. Even though the school was dealing with the drama of Cassie being her attempted murder, they were dealing with that. And the color of the jackets that they wore were the same ones that the person who pushed Cassie wore. Yeah. A mess. I mean, the guy, Ramon.
It was, yeah. So, I don't know. I just felt like, I was kind of upset that they changed to ballet too, because I like classical ballets. Like I like the Nutcracker. I actually wanted to go see it this Christmas season, but coronavirus. But then changing it to the Ripper, when you have all of these things happening in the school, is this really the best idea? I don't know.
Ramon's an asshole, so he doesn't care.
He is. And I just
poor taste, as David would say.
It was poor taste. Very poor taste. Very, very.
Here we go. We're at our last segment, what you all have been waiting for, the reason why you're here, to let you know what we really think about this book. We are going to rate that book. I feel like we need a song for this segment. My eyes keep getting lower and lower. All right, y'all. You know our rating scale. We have sober, buzzed, faded, tipsy, and lit.
I said, you know our rating scale?
I gotta say it slow. I can't say it too fast. So we have upgraded to 5 levels, so that way it can equate to our Goodreads ratings. You know, nice and balanced for us there. So I need to check my Goodreads rating for this book. I think I know what I gave it, and I think I gave it the same thing in my notes.
I don't think I haven't rated mine on Goodreads. I don't even know if I marked the book on Goodreads as me having actually. I did put it in there as currently reading. I be forgetting to update my Goodreads sometimes.
So I gave it so that's where I messed it up. I gave it a faded. I don't know why I didn't give it a lit. I'm trying to think. I don't know. Maybe there was just something missing there. Just a little. I think because the storyline in the book did feel just a little bit dragged on. And there were just like so many moving parts and pieces. But I'm gonna retract my after watching the show, I'm gonna retract my faded, and I'm actually gonna give it a lit. Like, this book was really good. It made me want to read the next one. And I actually read this book, the actual book. I did listen to a couple chapters while I was like doing my makeup or something for a few minutes, just so I can, keep reading. But yeah, this book was really good. I'm gonna give it a lit. Just the book by itself is a lit. Now the show, I'm going to give it what's our third one? Sober, buzz, fade, tipsy. I'm gonna give it tipsy. Because the last 3 to 4 episodes get you, I'm like, oh, I gotta keep watching. It makes you want to watch. Like, the storyline drives it forward. The acting, not so much, but the storyline, you're like, okay, let me see what happens next. Now I'm ready for season 2. So the book is lit. For me, the show is tipsy because that cliffhanger at the end, baby.
No, okay. So from the book, so originally I was thinking about a faded and a half kind of lit, but I think it's definitely a lit book. I'm thinking about it mainly because of how the book ends and how I definitely want to read the second book. It also gets a lit because of the story itself. It is a little disjointed. It is kind of all over the place a little bit, but I begin to actually care about some of the characters, and was like talking to myself as I was reading the book and having like actual audible reactions and stuff.
Yes.
So I definitely think that's a sign. One thing that I meant to mention this in the reaction. One thing I'm curious about is I want to know who wrote what parts. Like, how did they write this book together? Like, who did what? Like, that would be really cool to know. Now, for the show, from what I've seen and what I know, shit's sober, okay? It's strong sober, okay? Might be less than sober. I don't know what that is, but it's a strong sober. Mainly because it's just, again, it's not the book. It's not what I wanted. It's not what I was expecting. I don't like Nevaeh's character. I don't like Bet's character. I don't like June. I don't like all the porn and the sex. I don't like how Shane be low-key about to rape Oren. I don't like it. Okay, I don't like it. Now, again, the saving grace of it is the dance. The dancing is beautiful. It's great. I like it. I can see the passion in these characters when they are dancing. I like that. But the show, the acting, October. Now, again, I said I will go back and finish the show, and I may change my rating after finishing it and having it as a whole package. But based on what I've seen so far, I'm not interested. But I will finish. I will finish the show.
Well, there you have it, folks. The book is lit. Please go read it. I've started reading the second one, and I'm not in any rush. But yes, it's already drama filled. So go ahead, read these books. If you watch the show and you've read the books, just realize that they're totally different beasts. They have some of the same constructs. So this book was able to give the writers at Netflix the idea, but just realize they're totally different. If you watch the show, then read the books. Just realize that the book is more toned down and it's definitely a different plot line. You're not going to get all that sex in the novels. Yeah. But yeah, they're actually two separate entities to me, definitely. But there you have it. The book is lit. The show is, I guess the average rating, it's a buzzed. Yeah, I would say buzzed. Our ratings together. Yeah. So that's it on Tiny Pretty Things.
Hey, Tiny Pretty Things. And then the next book is A Deadly Inside Scoop by Abby Collette.
I've been reading.
It is a murder mystery, which is my pick.
Jazz loves her murder mysteries. 2020 is a crazy year.
It's been going on forever.
But we've made it to the end. Hope you all had happy holidays. Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, or just happy winter, happy Thanksgiving, happy New Year. We've made it to the end. I'm excited to see what's in store for Black Girl Lit in 2021. And I was going to say something kind of deep, but I forgot what I was going to say because I've been drinking a lot of...
I think Black Girl Lit 2021 is going to be so much fun.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. But anywho, yeah, that's it. That's all I have for the good of the year. I don't have anything.
I don't have anything either. I'm excited for 2021. I'm happy with what we've done with Black Girl Lit this year. It's going to get better next year because, this year we just made it through. The goal was just to make it through the year. And we did. So... claps to us. Absolutely. I'm gonna look that. I'm gonna do a reaction. Boom. So
y'all see that on the screen.
But yeah. So, but 2021 is gonna be lit. Okay, lit. Black Girl Lit. Pew pew pew. Gang gang gang.
Right, that's it. Happy New Year. We'll see y'all in 2021. And as always, stay Black Girl Lit.
Stay motherfucking Black Girl Lit, y'all.
That's it for today's show. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes. Leave us a 5-star rating and a top-notch review to get us to the top review page on iTunes. And be sure to follow us and listen on SoundCloud.